Hello, Herman and Victory.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, hello.
Professor Herman.
I was just
morning.
showing Josh around of the code base, okay, and it's also done in recording. So if any one of you like to refer to that, that's also fine. Okay, it's going to be archived along with all the other, our sync recordings. Okay. All right. So Victory, maybe.
Question.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Sorry, is that with this recording as well, or is that
Oh,
a
no.
separate
It's a
recording?
separate. It's a separate.
Okay.
But it's going to be on the same YouTube
The
list.
vast library.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, right.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So, Victor, you like to start?
Yes, let me just open this.
Okay.
Hi, Alida.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Herman. Hi, Josh. Welcome back. It's a full house. Let me just try to open this. All right. Okay. So maybe we should just start with Alida. Hi, Alida.
Good morning.
I hope you've been well.
Yes, thank you. And yourself?
I'm all right. Just to sort of follow up with regards to if there's been any updates with the PubSub part, if you were able to like play around with the code. Or...
So basically, I had a meeting on Friday with Prof. Herman, and I'm moving towards the second part of what I plan to do. So I'm basically playing around with the with moving, because I was focusing on the channel-based PubSub to see if I can get that working, and I've now moved to I've started to play with the spatial-based.
Spatial, okay.
Yes,
and nice.
Yeah, but I haven't gotten very far with that, but I went through the vast GitHub part, and I think I understand that code, so I can start building from that as well.
Okay. Just to confirm, it's also in JavaScript, right? The spatial based.
Yes.
In around. All right. I don't know if you're working with it on GitHub as well, or
I haven't uploaded it to GitHub yet. I'm getting to that. I will upload it to GitHub soon. Sorry, I only start working on this this on Wednesday.
Okay. That's fine. I do understand that Professor Herman is sort of working with the MQTT implementation to sort of support channel based. Yeah. So no, it makes sense. Also, I don't know what your sync time is. Sorry, I know we're supposed to meet, I think, on a Sunday or a Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, some stuff really went down.
No, it's no problem. We can maybe put up a sync for tomorrow or Saturday if that works for you.
A Saturday work.
Okay. Yeah.
Or even Sunday.
No, Sunday would work perfectly. I'll send you a link.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Alida. So maybe we should go to Josh. I don't know if Josh has any questions with regards to the vast library itself or the core library, or if you're sort of familiar with it, familiar with the code base itself. Josh?
I have no question for now.
For now, okay, that's good. Best type of answer. And Shanyin just confirmed that he's sort of giving you a walkthrough. So I don't know if you watch. I know I did send you. You said you're available from 2 o'clock till midnight, which is quite cool. But I'm not sure if that's South Africa GMT time or your time.
GMT plus 8.
Plus 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's okay. That's fine.
I think we're 6 hours apart, right? Right now it's 8 a.m. at South Africa. Right?
South Africa, yeah. It is 8 o'clock. So I'm guessing it's 2 o'clock there.
Yes, it's 2 o'clock our time.
Yes, yeah. Okay. So basically from 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock till okay, I can't really do the math now.
I
I'll do
think
that
it's
later.
about 6 p.m. from now to 6 p.m. at your time,
Okay.
because
Okay.
6 p.m. will be midnight in Taiwan.
All right. Because it sort of has to do with the sync time. One of the things I was thinking of with regards to sort of updates from everyone is to sort of have like maybe one-on-one sessions and developer sessions, as well as the general larger team sessions where, for example, there's I think I wrote it down somewhere. So there's like a sync with general team for updates. So that can be once a month, maybe like at the beginning of the month, to sort of discuss what the targets are for the month. And then there's like a weekly sync in terms of, okay, this is how far I've gotten, or this is, this is what I've been working on, and this is what we want to work on for this week, and these are the specific tasks allocated to that week. And then there's like a daily sync in terms of, but this does not really have to be like a Zoom meeting per se. This could just simply be a text or something over Slack to just say, okay, this is what happened, this is what I've done, this is what I've been working on. And again, this probably depends on the time schedules of the developers or everyone on the team. And that's why I'm sort of asking around as to the best available time for everyone. But yeah, that's that on that. I'm not sure if there's anything new from Professor Herman with regards to the MQTT implementation.
No, unfortunately not. But tomorrow is my development day, so then I'll have time to look at it.
Oh, nice. All right. All right. So with regards to proposal, I don't know if Alida, I've been trying to, we did the target theme for, I don't know if you have any plans for your proposal, Alida. Can try this as well, where we basically compress the month's work into 2 weeks. So the idea is to finish.
She does. I mean, so it's only for the PhDs that have to write a research proposal that's evaluated by a panel. The master students don't have to do that. I mean, it's a
really.
It's yeah. It's only the PhD students. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I was forced to do
Okay.
a proposal.
But I think one thing that could be relevant for both Alida and perhaps Josh in the future is that
Yes.
this proposal actually follows a master thesis structure.
Yeah.
Meaning that if you are able to understand and be able to produce something like this, that pretty much can be your master thesis in terms of the structure, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So.
Nice.
So all right.
All right. So I've not done quite a lot. I'm hoping to sort of power through the weekend with lots of Red Bull. But in terms of from a timeline perspective, we sort of maybe by what's today's date? 9. Oh, so it's not bad. Yeah, it's just the literature review that's not been fusing properly yet. And yeah, I'm hoping the weekend can fix that. So once this is done, then that's 10, 11, that's Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday I can sort of begin with the discussion, sorry. But I think it's still looking good in theory. But I was reading this proposal again, and I noticed like quite a lot of stuff in terms of rewarding. I don't know if that's a really bad thing, but like I had to reward a lot of stuff, like just reading through it again. And sorry, Professor Herman, the comments sort of disappeared. I think it's because of a version control thing. But I do have the comments though, don't get me, you don't have to like repeat them. I have them in my email, but when I go back to Google for that section, it sort of disappeared. I don't know if it's a Google Drive sync issue, but at least I have them in my email, so that's fine. But based off the comments, just by reading it again with like clean eyes and new eyes and just looking through, I noticed quite a few things, and I've been trying to reward as well. One thing that I decided to change here was instead of calling it problem statement, which I think I put somewhere at the bottom, I just called it problem definition and research question. So in the problem definition, there should be like the research question somewhere under, where there's like, okay, this is what the problem is, or this is what we're working on. These are the questions we're trying to answer. And, this is how, and I guess that's where the aims and objectives sort of comes in. This is how we plan to answer those questions from the problem that was defined. I think I added one or two things here where we were talking about how, I think this was added in terms of, what to do, the task that needs to be done. So we need to analyze the developed spatial PubSub algorithm to show how it scales compared to standard channel-based PubSub systems. All right. And also the subtopic under that is basically how we would need to understand, basically need to understand what the trade-offs are. Again, for example, by scaling up the system, how did it affect the speed? What was the, what performance went down to make the scalability go up, right? And that might, I have a feeling, could be a speed and latency thing, but I guess we'll
especially
find out.
if you're using forwarding. Yes.
Forward, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, forwarding
Yes.
obviously will make a latency increase.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll basically show that. I think this stuff stays there. I think I took out the two components at the top, which sort of, what was the comment again? Basically, I think that was the writing part where we said, there's going to be papers written and thesis written. Deleted that part. I think I added something here as well. Yeah, the open source library component of the project could potentially provide a new platform for development startups to compete with more established rivals. And the development of an infrastructure that can support all types. Now, I don't know if I should use the word all or because all is a lot, or basically all means
I mean, you can have most types if you like. That gives you some wiggle room if you like.
Okay.
So I think what's useful about this research proposal is it also, I mean, if Alida and Josh has a look at it, it also gives motivation for why we want to do spatial PubSub, and what's the so it gives some background and context to the project, which I think is useful. And as Shunyun said, the general structure is the same, that you have what's the problem you're working on, what's the why is it an important problem, what is the research questions you're asking. Research questions are probably slightly less relevant for a master's thesis, but it's still important to think about what is the question you're asking and trying to answer. And then there's the methodology. Okay, how do you go about what do you need to do in order to be able to answer your research question? And that might involve building something and then testing something. So I think in that sense, the research proposal gives some useful background to the project and also structure how you would go about doing a master's thesis.
Okay. Nice. But I will share this. Maybe I think I'll start editing from Google directly. Just for it's just that I like version control, like saving, just in case something breaks somewhere, I can always go back. But I think I have to trust Cloud now, because again, the comments are quite important. Anyways, again, with regards to this methodology, I don't know if I should still leave this here. I think we talked about it, but it was sort of a nice way to just break down what we plan to do in like 1 or 2 paragraphs and just say, okay, this is what's going to happen, and that's what's going to happen, and this is how we're going to try to do X, Y, and Z. And then there's the planning section. Then there's I think I got distracted here somewhere. Let me just highlight that. What happened there? So there's still some work that needs to come here, and then we go to the theoretical part. Now, I think what I changed here was, I think before I put it as theory and background, and then I just said theory and literature review. And the idea is for each of the components, the literature review is sort of fused directly into the key topics or the key concepts. So which was what we just said yesterday in terms of you have, for example, what is PubSub or channel-based PubSub? How does it work? And then give like literature reviews to examples of how they work, and then talk about the limitations, for example, through a paper that was published in a peer-reviewed article and say, okay, this is what channel-based PubSub is, but when they applied it to this field, this and that happened, and this suggests that there's a limit or there's some form of limit, especially from a scalability perspective. And boom, yeah, we've addressed that. And then there's a sense of, okay, we are coming in with the savior called the spatial PubSub. I think I should take based out. Spatial public subscribe, and then what it does, how it works. Yeah, I need to add an example there. So with the reference, I'm also like adding key points now based on the suggestion you basically like for any preposterous statement I make, I just put like a little bracket reference there so that I don't forget. You can see ref, blah, blah, blah. And then I think this can go now. There needs to be the vast library somewhere in there. And then I think the next key steps, which is what I sort of want to work on for the weekend, is just to discuss this key parts and maybe start there as well in terms of, what am I saying? This shouldn't be literature review. This should be more our approach. Right. So the idea is, okay, now that we've discussed the theory and all that, then we want to talk about what we plan to do. And that's where, for example, components from the previous concept paper that was written come in, where we're saying, okay, we have our standard PubSub algorithm. This is how it should work. Then we have our forwarding model, which has been sort of called Vorocast 2.0. And how we plan to forward the messages, and maybe even how we plan to implement the front end application part to do a bit of a test run, how it should work, provide some links to the developed work, for example, the GitHub link, or links rather. And then, yeah, preliminary results, I think, again, this is still something I'm thinking of. I still don't have a real answer yet in my head, because technically some of these preliminary results are probably going to show up in the theory and literature review, right? And when I say preliminary results, there's a sense of, okay, this is how vast scaled when it was tested in a virtual environment. This was the scalability result, and we believe by applying the same vast library into more arbitrary data, then we can.
Well, I like, maybe Herman can comment a bit. Usually I think the preliminary results here should be something that the author has done, right? It's probably not
Yes.
referencing
Yeah.
other people's work, because
Yeah.
that will belong in the background literature review section, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the preliminary results can be something that's numerical, like in simulation results, but maybe it can also be like analytical.
Yes.
If you haven't had done experimental simulations, maybe you can qualitatively assess. Like,
Yeah.
for example, like going through all the existing, I guess, various spatial applications and check if, spatial PubSub is in fact something that can be used to support it, albeit in a more generalized way, right? So like all the GIS application, Uber-like applications, and virtual worlds, online games, if you can show that, well, all these cases, although they have been so far done more or less in very different fashions, a spatial PubSub layer can actually support all of them, okay, in such and such way, for example.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's also one of the goals that you've stated in your one of your objectives.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I agree with Xunyun that the preliminary results should be like an implementation of the spatial PubSub library where you've tested latency or scalability or something like that. You don't have to have preliminary results, that type of preliminary results in your proposal, but what Xunyun is talking about, that kind of demonstrating that the spatial PubSub meets the requirements of spatial applications, I think that is something that you can put in there. I mean, you could even have some preliminary designs of the algorithm. You could also include in your. It's kind of demonstrating
protocol.
Yeah. That demonstrates the progress that you've made with the PhD thus far.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, if you can put in, I think the message format, the protocol.
Like if I was just gonna say them.
Yeah, because that is something you can purely get done by design, right? Basically by thinking design, and that's a result, right? That's already an output, and to get people's feedback, right?
Makes sense. All right.
Okay. All right. So Victor, I think actually right now it will be worthwhile to use the rest of the time to maybe talk about task assignment for, I think, Lida and also Josh.
Okay.
What do you think?
So Josh, I don't know, have you like set up any environment yet with regards to the VAST, or it's still too soon? Like created like a code for it. I mean, maybe VS Code or something.
So perhaps I can ask, maybe it would be to start off with, just since Josh has been joining us now, so that Alida and Josh just reiterates or says again what is the part of the project that they're working on, so that it's also clear to everyone else.
Okay.
Well, maybe you can start, Victor, by telling what's the part of the project you're working on, and then.
Okay. So with me, or at least this is what I had in mind. With regards to the development work, there's quite a few components to it, and maybe I can just open that quickly. But there's the summaries, there's the front end and there's the back end, right? From the front end perspective, there's the application development, which is a chat app, for example, like a spatial WhatsApp version or a spatial Uber version, right? And the idea is, on the back end, there's something being published. There is this publish subscribe algorithm on the back end. We have the channel based, which will be built on an MQTT sort of implementation. This is something Professor Herman is working on to sort of see how we can use that. So the whole idea is this MQTT would open the doors for us to access the IoT world, because MQTT implementation is something used widely with IoT developers, right? So that can be our channel based development perspective, or development rather. And then we have the spatial base, which is, the publish to area, subscribe to area, and subscribe from area. Now, from just the PubSub part, I'm thinking me and Alida can work on that, where we are basically developing the the message formatting, for example, the design of the whole thing itself, how the process should be. And then from a development perspective, we're hoping Josh could actually help with the forwarding component of things. I think the forwarding can, from the particle design itself, it looks like it can potentially get complex, and there we need like the heavyweights, and just from what I hear is a heavyweight. So
just his experience.
very experienced.
Yeah, he's got I mean, actual work experience in the
Okay,
backend
nice.
development.
Nice, right? Yeah, perfect. So you might be able to help with the forwarding, right? As with Ragav, I actually want him to help with the front end side of things, which again I have discussed with him. He said he's going to have a look at the code base, at least the one we have now, the one that
Wenhao has done.
Wenhao, sorry, Wenhao developed. And the idea is if he can help build that as well as an API, right? So the idea is there's this layer, which is the front end side of things, and then there's an API that's created to be integrated with what we're developing on the back end. And there's going to be a lot of collaboration and back to back conversations with Ragav on that. But I don't know if that that sort of clarifies things. So with me and
I'd like to ask the API you show here, just a clarifying question. Is that going to be mostly a MQTT or MQTT-like interface?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, all right. Because I thought that was kind of the idea, right? I mean, just to because go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say the MQTT is already something available, right? It's something that can be used readily. And right now it's kind of like the question becomes, can we extend that a little, right? To support spatial PubSub so that any applications that might utilize spatial PubSub can have a sort of a minimum change or, minimum additional knowledge if they want to utilize the spatial PubSub functionality that we will be developing.
Okay. I just sort of clicked on the link now. Yeah, I see what you mean. I actually didn't notice that part. Right. It looks like it's API developed already, or at least it's
Yes, yeah. There's a couple of versions.
I'm pretty sure there's API and also there's wrapper, right? So this is something maybe we can be more clear, right? I mean, when you write the API, it can be you can also indicate it's an MQTT-like API. Okay, or an MQTT extended API, right? Does Herman agree? I mean,
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that makes things more clear, and also, right? So people who are working on the front end side, they can also expect that, right? This is what we will be providing, in terms of the backend.
So it means in my conversations with Ragav, there's a sense of whatever is developing, you should try to make it compatible with the current what they call it, API. MQTT API, and then once it supports our spatial PubSub, then it's simply just integrating. It's not necessarily starting from scratch.
Exactly.
Yes,
it can be done with minimum change to the front end code. Yeah.
All right.
And that already can tell you that that basically the way to support spatial publication, subscription, and unsubscription is we'll have to have a special identifier as the first part of the topic that will indicate that it's a spatial publication or a spatial subscription or a spatial unsubscription, which is happening because the way the MQTT packet format is defined, we can't define new types of MQTT packets, so we basically have to overload the publish packet to say this is a publication packet, but if you look at the topic, it's like, oh, this is a spatial publication
area.
Right. So it's kind of like I mean, basically building an additional interface on top of MQTT. Right?
Yes, precisely. Yeah.
Nice. Some really good stuff. All right. So I'm thinking maybe Josh can get started with Vast. I don't know if he already has access to the library.
I think that's what Shinyon went through with him this morning.
I think Josh already has cloned a fork, a copy of the Vast library locally.
Okay. Nice. So basically getting started with the vast library. You should try to testing and, you know, test out basic implementation, and then we sort of need to sync. Is Sunday also all right with Josh?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just add that to my sync.
If you want to sync separately, you try to schedule a time beforehand.
Yes, I will do that. Yes, and later. Invite. Okay.
And you can use personal Zoom for that. I mean,
Yes.
it's a 40-minute limit. If you want to use this Zoom, I think on the weekends, that's also fine. Mostly, I think just this Zoom is borrowed on Sunday, 8 p.m. in Taiwan time. But otherwise, weekends can be used as well, I think, if you need.
Okay. Do you mind sharing your GitHub IDs as well? I just realized now that we actually have a link here for everyone.
Yes.
Alina,
So Josh and Alina, right?
Josh,
I'll
yes.
send mine.
Thanks. All right. So Shinyan, I'm not sure if you're working on anything at the moment.
Well, I think I can help to recruit more people if that's
Okay.
needed. But well, obviously answering questions, right? For I guess Josh. But I think right now, okay, if the project is going to work, you know, even faster in terms of environmental design, I think it's to find an actual client who is going to use the work we produce. Okay.
Yes.
Like someone who is actually interested to, you know, use whatever we develop. Okay.
I like that. I like that. Okay.
That's going to add additional forcing function. And if the client's willing to pay, that's even better. Okay. I mean, which can actually becomes a kind of a contract work, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And that's going to add a lot more weight and, you know, accountability to this.
For recruiting talent.
So maybe this is something I can try to reach out to see if there's any, I mean, whether for pay or non-paid. But the important thing is that whatever we are producing here actually matters, right? There's actually someone who would like to use it or who would like to see it in their work.
True, I agree. It's a good one, yeah.
What does Herman think?
I mean, yeah, if you can get a client, that would be great to help inform in what direction should the development be, and
exactly. If there's a demand, also it will make our direction more concrete, right?
Yes, precisely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I can tend to think that if we're adding more persons to the working on the project at the moment, might, you know, there is that thing that throwing more people at the problem doesn't necessarily make it go faster.
Yes.
So I think at this stage we should try. I mean, the client will help focus the direction, but I think if we have clarity about what everyone is doing and we make progress with that, if we have a working, even if it's a simple demo which doesn't scale well or has some limitations, whatever, having some kind of minimal system up and running will also go a long way,
right? And then
yes,
of sorts.
Go a long way towards convincing a client that because then they can see something and say, oh, this is what it's supposed to do, and then they can give some input as to the direction to which it should develop.
Okay, all right, that's good.
All right, makes sense. All right. I don't know if I missed anything. Sync with VO. Alida said she will send
I'd like to feedback a bit about what you and Adida are trying to do in terms of the spatial pops up. I think it's as a first step, it would be probably helpful to just verify like what's currently available. Okay, in the vast library, or has that been done already? Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, because I know there's already an interface, right, where spatial pops up in the current library, but probably it's not fully implemented, right?
Okay, I see what you mean.
And I guess I'm asking Alida, I mean, because you've probably done some survey here. I mean, there's an interface, right? That's actually already defined, correct?
So my basically how I've started to approach is I started a completely independent channel-based PubSub that was just the like a small test program for me, and now I'm starting with a spatial-based PubSub, which is also currently independent from the VAST, and then I will and then I will start to implement that after I'm happy with where I am with the channel-based PubSub. Sorry, not the channel, with the spatial-based.
So I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. But that also comes from me following more of so Victoria and I haven't spoken about which part. That's why we need to sync, and which part he or I should be able or should do or should.
All right.
Yeah. So our plan is to speak on Sunday and then go through the VAST code and see what is lacking and what each of us feels like we need for our, because obviously I'm also focusing on my master's part of this. So the idea would be then to focus on which parts I would be doing and which part he would be doing with which what we want to achieve at the end.
Okay, I see. Okay, great. I think that's a good approach. Okay.
Yes, so we'll be having a sync this Sunday, and then I will probably from that just write up a small document or report or like timeline just to specifically say which parts I will be tackling and which parts Victory will be tackling, so that when we're finished, it'll be easier to combine it.
I see. Nice. All right. I think then this is probably more Victory's work than to sort of clarify like what's missing, right? What's available and what's missing, right? And probably ideally the missing part is something Alida can do, right? And then later integrate it to
that is currently the idea.
JavaScript.
Yes.
Okay. Nice. All right. Thanks. I think that clarifies a lot. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Olivia. So I don't know if I missed anything here. Please to review. Oh yeah, sorry. Get started. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Today's date is 9.
That looks good. Cool. Okay.
Okay, nice. All right. So if nothing else, maybe is Herman, you think this is all right for?
Yeah, I think so.
Next step. Okay. All right. So just to confirm with Josh, will you be able to join on Monday and Thursday, I guess, for the sync?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Let's try that. All right. Let's try that and see if any adjustments are needed. Okay. Because I think starting in the beginning and the ending of the week, right? That will probably give us a good idea of what you're working on and the progress. Okay. All right. So thanks everyone, and thanks Victory, and I think we'll sync on next Monday. Okay. And
cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Hear your good progress on the weekend. Okay. Yeah. Take care.
Josh.
Cool.
Have a great weekend. Yeah. Bye bye.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Bye bye.